People love to look at the 70 series LandCruisers and call them overpriced dinosaurs, analog relics from the past, and honestly, it's probably the reason why we love them. They're simple and reliable. But to my surprise, I think we have all underestimated just how far the 70 series LandCruisers have come in recent years. They're not as dumb as you might think, and it makes me wonder if we should all carry something around in our cars like this little tool right here. What's up everybody, I'm Eamon and welcome back to Bush Business. This is the Xtool A30M OBD service diagnostic tool, and don't get it confused with a basic OBD reader. It is actually very different to your ScanGauge 3, which I'll cover later on. But in this video, I'm going to be covering what this item is, how it works, what it taught me about my LandCruiser that I didn't know, and how it highlighted a potential issue with my braking system. So what is this little tool and how does it work? The Xtool A30M is a compact wireless Bluetooth OBD2 diagnostic scanner, and not to confuse it with your basic OBD readers that read error codes and clear error codes. This is a workshop grade tool that allows you to not only read what the car is reading, it gives you access to every single system, every single sensor, and allows you to control them. So imagine if your vehicle has an electric handbrake and you want to change your brake pads. Normally you would have to go to a workshop so they can release the handbrake using a service tool. Well, this little thing allows you to do that. It also allows you to do things like bleed your ABS if you're in the middle of the bush and you had a brake leak. Allows you to program your injectors if you're replacing injectors. Basically, whatever a mechanic can do with their big expensive snap-on service tool, this little tool allows you to do that. Beyond the bidirectional control and the ability to access various sensors to read error codes and clear them, this little guy also allows you to do your servicing. So if your vehicle's computer logs your oil changes, your brake changes, etc., this allows you to reset that once you've changed them, which is very, very handy. The final feature and function of this tool right here is its ability to not only show you the live data and allow you to monitor live data from all the sensors, but also record them. And this is very important if you have problems with your car that you're trying to diagnose that only happen in specific circumstances. For example, imagine that your car drives fine and it tows fine, but then as soon as you reach 100 kilometers an hour, you're towing your van, your car starts to overheat. You can plug this in, allow it to record up to 8 data streams, replicate that problem, and try to then diagnose it using that recorded data, which is very, very handy and something I absolutely love, and I can see me using it for various other things. Physically, it is quite small, as you can see. It looks like a little torch, and funny enough, you can probably use it as a little torch because it has buttons that activate built-in LED lights that are very handy for you to find the OBD port at night, or if your car's OBD port is hidden under the footwell. On the front, you have your 16-pin OBD port that plugs into the car, and on the back, you have your just generic LED lights that make sure that the item is connected properly and it's powered on. Also on the front, you have a little nice LCD screen that tells you the voltage, so you know if your car is running out of battery while you're diagnosing it. Very, very simple looking little unit, and it feels like it's made out of aluminium and plastic. Very sturdy indeed. You can probably put this in your bag, glove box, center console. It's tiny. Using the Xtool A30M is also very straightforward. Find your OBD port and plug it in. It's going to give you a nice loud beep to let you know you've made a good connection. And if you are already using your OBD port for something like a ScanGauge 3 like I am, you can buy yourself a Y-splitter cable from Amazon, link is in the description below, that allows you to run multiple devices. For me, I can run my ScanGauge 3, so that way I can keep my fuel range, fuel economy, etc., and also still get my live data that I like, and also use the Xtool to record other data. After you've connected the tool, pretty much pair it with your iPad or phone through Bluetooth, download the AnyScan app, connect the scanner to the app itself and activate it. And you do activate it using the very important paperwork you get. So don't lose that quality certificate because it has your activation code that's then going to give you unlimited live updates for the future. If you're a workshop, you want to make sure that you have the latest data for every single car, which they do give you for free when you activate it properly. From here, you can pretty much scan and clear error codes, control various functions related to servicing and programming, and then record and play back any data you desire. One of the big mistakes I personally made is I didn't give this little unit a try. To highlight what I mean, just look at how many errors this tool picked up on my LandCruiser that the Scan Gauge 3 didn't pick any of them up. And a lot of those errors I can explain. For example, as part of doing the wiring for my dashcam, I plugged out my fuse for the rear brakes, which then triggered the pedestrian crash safety system. And that probably stored it into the ECU of the car until I cleared it with this thing, which is quite crazy how much it actually picks up. But even more impressive than that is just have a look at how much data and sensors this 79 series has. So this little unit really did teach me something I didn't know about my car, in that it's not really a dinosaur, it's very, very advanced, just wrapped up in dinosaur's clothes. But more importantly than this, it also highlighted for me a potential issue that I have with my brakes. Something I've complained about in the past is that when I release the brake pedal on my LandCruiser, I feel like the trailer is still holding the car back and the electronic brakes don't release for the trailer. And that is not related to the settings. I did post about it on Facebook in some groups, and 2 people responded with some information that made a lot of sense to me. One of them was the admin, I believe, from the Superior Engineering Facebook page, and he asked me if I have an upgraded brake booster. The second person was Mitch from All4 Mechanical, who also raised that the brake booster might not be adjusted correctly. And for someone like me, I don't know how to adjust that brake booster, but when I plugged this in, I immediately noticed that the settings, or the position I shall say, for the brake master cylinder was not at 0 when the brakes are released. It's at a negative number, which highlights that it's not actually set correctly. And that backs up those responses in that the brake booster is probably the likely cause of my problems. So now all I have to do is jump into the LandCruiser, go to my friends at All4 Mechanical, and hopefully they can fix this issue for me, as opposed to running around trying to figure out if the problem is with the trailer or the car. And different people are going to use this tool in different ways. If you are a mechanic workshop, this can pretty much replace your very expensive Snap-on diagnostic tool, because you can do everything that the Snap-on does at a very small package that costs a fraction of the Snap-on. But if you are a DIY enthusiast like me, you can at least diagnose basic problems. And the new app for this, and I only played around with it yesterday because I didn't realize they had a new app, is it also has an AI agent that's going to help you diagnose your error code. So rather than writing down the error code, jumping onto Google and trying to figure out what that code means, within the app itself, it's going to try to help you diagnose the problem, which is fantastic if you're in the middle of nowhere, your car throws up an error code and you have no idea what it is. And I see it all the time on Facebook where people are posting up saying, what does this mean and what does that mean? Now for my final thoughts. I think that the physical item and the app is incredibly user-friendly and very, very portable. Like, it's very tiny, it's got a built-in flashlight to it, and the app is very, very easy to use. But I do have to warn you in that you can really do some bad things with that app if you muck around too much. As I mentioned earlier, you can do things like resetting your injectors, resetting your ABS, resetting your power windows. And if you press the wrong button, you might actually damage your car, something that I'm very worried about. But for a normal DIY person trying to find error codes and clear error codes, or for workshops, especially if you're a mobile mechanic and you don't want to spend thousands of dollars on a Snap-on OBD reader, this is quite amazing for what it gives you. And I love the fact that it has the torch, because that's also handy. I personally think that the Xtool A30M should be part of any traveler's emergency kit. You see videos online saying that if you own a LandCruiser, you should carry some wheel bearings and wheel nuts and wheel studs and oil filters and air filters. But what if you get an error in the middle of the tracks after doing a water crossing and you have no idea what it is? Without a tool like this, you're going to be stuck. But at least with this, you have an option to maybe go clear out a sensor, go spray some product in there to clear out any mud or dirt, and the car should then work and off you go on your merry way back home. Should you buy it? Look, budget permitting, I think you should, especially if you are planning on traveling by yourself. Just like how you have your physical items that you might need in case something breaks down, it's not a tool you're going to be using every day unless you are a mechanic, but if you do need it one day when you're stuck, you're going to wish you had it, because all cars now, even my Dinosaur, has plenty of sensors and brains. Please do let me know in the comments, do you currently have a tool like this, or do you actually have this tool, and what do you think of it? Also, let me know what you think of my brake issue. Is the brake booster something that is easy or hard to adjust at home? Finally, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to check out my ScanGauge 3 review to let me know what you think of it as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.